Oh, whoa. You see that? That looks like a diverter for the exhaust. Hey, welcome back. For the first time, Monkey Bike Monday, a long form video series every Monday talking about monkey bikes. And I thought this would be a great opportunity also to share a lot of cool things I come across. I know not everyone is on social media, all the different social media apps. I am. And as I'm scrolling, I come across cool things, and I kind of want to have a little archive. Among the regular videos that I post on this channel, I wanted to at least have a dedicated segment or at least video series on just the monkey bike stuff. A little bit more looser format than an edited dedicated video, but dedicated videos can come from this because of viewers like you and the stuff you write in the comments, the things you want to hear about, the feedback you give me. I don't know how many weeks in a row I'm going to be able to pull this off. But this is week 1 and we're 1 for 1. So let's keep going, right? Look at this, the Cannonball 125. Do you guys know about this? This is a cross-country 125cc bikes. It's happening in June. I think they did this last year as well. Look at this. They're going from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco, California. It's, as far as I know, it's 16 days. 16 days. Are you up for it? I think there's only going to be room for 27. Here it is. Here's the rules and information. Rules. I don't know if there's rules. I guess there is sort of rules. Yeah, because there's a certain way they're going through this. Yes, limited to 24 people. Look at that. Look at that route. Is that crazy? They're going from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco. 125cc bikes. I think down here I saw a picture. They have pictures from last year's thing. I think they have some photos of the people that were involved. Oh, there's some of the people that are involved, Ride Yodas. And yeah, there's some people that went, I believe, last year. And look at that. That's crazy. All right, there we go. These are some of the people that are going already. I don't know how updated this list is, but it looks like there's room for a couple more. Now, if you didn't notice, there is a price. Here it is, $200 deposit, and it's going to cost $3,495. But it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, right? Once in a lifetime this year. It's pretty crazy. I mean, if you're going to go on an adventure, this is pretty extreme. They have like all the information, and they're doing this interesting thing with like gas. I was reading through some of this. There's this thing where you're going to use like this GPS thing, take a picture of your gas and mileage and stuff, just to make sure you're not speeding through places you're not supposed to and stuff like that. So it's a cannonball. It's pretty neat. I've only seen this kind of stuff on movies and stuff, so I have no idea what it's about, but I wanted to at least share it with you if you're not familiar with this kind of stuff. It's been going on. They did it last year, and I know there's this other website called The Adventurists, and they do these are the smaller little monkey bikes, and they've been doing this for years now, as far as I know. I come across every once in a while, yeah, these are the different places. Morocco, Mongolia, USA, and yeah, look at that. They're riding the little monkeys, and I think this is definitely like the same thing. It's just a crazy adventure and pretty neat. I wanted to share some of that because I just think about, taking the monkey bike, and I know these are a little bit different. This is a little bit more extreme. Look how little that thing is. That's crazy, but that's pretty cool. You have to admit it's pretty cool, and I like the idea that it's all built around monkey bikes, right? But as far as this GPS Kevin adventure rides, something to look into. And like I mentioned, or maybe I didn't, there will be links to everything in the description of this video, so that way if you're interested, if you want to know more about this stuff, you can see those things listed down there. And this is kind of a loose format. I have everything organized that we're going to talk about today, but I'm going to try to detail everything and really just make this just an opportunity to hang out. And if you have anything that catches your interest, make sure you watch till the end, because you might have other things you want to put in your comments. If you want to leave a comment, you know how that goes. And I appreciate it if you did. Let me know you've been watching. But I wanted to mention, I was on Facebook. I'm everywhere. And I was on Facebook, and there was a group, 125 Mini Moto Marathon East Coast. And there's a guy, Ben, and he messaged in the group that he was interested. He's located in Virginia, and he's looking forward to the warmer weather. And then it says here, I think that he's looking for a group of people to do a little ride himself. And I don't know if he's organizing this, but he looks like he's planning out a little 200-mile course. So I'll put a link to that. If you're interested, you could join that group if you're located on that route. I think he's just kind of getting things started, but I came across that, and I thought that'd be a great way to just tie it all together with the monkey bike adventuring. Speaking of adventure, look at this thing. This is John Johnson. Look at this bike. Look at those tires. He has a video. I'm pretty sure he has a YouTube video, and I'll try to track that down and link to it. And I think I'm going to talk more about this in an upcoming episode, but I wanted to just give you a little preview because I was thinking, like, when you start thinking about adventure and taking road trips or taking little adventure trips, you start thinking of how you'd set up your bike. That's pretty serious business right there, I'd say, right? Crazy. And speaking of coast to coast, not to get too off tangent, speaking of coast to coast, I came across this little article. Now, this isn't monkey bike specific, okay? I know I want to keep this very monkey bike centric, but this is pretty cool because this is from 1962. This is the Cycle World magazine, and this guy went coast to coast on a mini bike. And I just thought it was pretty cool. Now, you can see here, let's see if we can get close. Doesn't look like that's a monkey bike. That's just a little mini bike. But it's a pretty cool article. I was skimming through it, just getting everything ready for this video. And it's just neat to see pictures of his setup and hear a little bit of his story. This could totally be a monkey bike, right? Like one of the original ones. He just didn't have a chance to use that, but it would have been that much cooler for our video today. But I'll link to this little article. It's pretty cool that they make stuff like this available. And I don't know how to zoom out of this. There we go. 1962. And if we're going to talk about going coast to coast, now this isn't like a group ride or anything, but if you are following anything on YouTube about monkey bikes, then you would know of Helmet Head and his little monkey bike world tour. And as far as I know, it's still going. I know his bike currently, I mean, this series, I think this is like 78 videos on this playlist. 78. So if you want to just sit back and just watch the whole story, I mean, these are like 30-minute videos. And so you got a couple hours of monkey bike world tour. And he's over in the UK. And I think some of these trips, I mean, he's going to like Peru, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to all these foreign countries. Where's he headed? Well, you'd have to click and look. I thought I saw some names pop up. There it is. Italy and France. Where I don't know where I got Peru. But just him traveling, and definitely unique scenery for me because I'm in the United States. And most of you probably know of this guy and this channel. But if you haven't, I think it's worth checking out. Specifically, too, because of his setups that he has. Like if you look here, I mean, his adventure setup is pretty legit. I mean, he's got 2 saddlebag boxes, the box on the back, extra gas tank, and you can just follow. There's some pretty fun little episodes there. And hopefully he'll continue this. I know on his channel he covers a lot of different bikes. That's why I want to link to this playlist. So if you're interested to watch that, I'll put that down below. And if we're going to talk about adventures, we got to talk about the great outdoors. Willie, I talk to him every once in a while. We text and stuff, and he's all about the milk crate. So if you're going to set yourself up, because this is where I want to have another episode and really elaborate and go into details about rigs for doing adventure biking, you know, not necessarily coast to coast adventures, maybe just a little weekend trip or something like that. But we got to mention Willie. I'll link to his channel. He's all about the milk crate, and he's got a pretty cool setup here. And this was the only shot I could get of it. And he was doing some modifications. And if you've ever experienced setting stuff up on your Honda Monkey Bike back rack, there's a lot of different options, right? All kinds of options. And which one's the best? I don't know. It depends on what you're planning to carry. But one of the things that, as I click through here, there it is, Willie goes through, and he kind of, on this episode, he set up a customization, which, man, can we just get him to just sell these things? Look at this thing. Let's see if he brings this up. So there is the customized rack. He had this reinforcement put in right here. which is pretty cool. It's worth watching that episode just to see. He doesn't really show how to do it, but he at least shows you it's possible, and it fits on really well, and it reinforced his rack. A lot more strength right there. You can see it there. A lot more strength for the back rack, which the milk crate is a very useful thing because you can put so much stuff in there loosely. You don't have to specifically, you think about the boxes. Some of those boxes are pretty expensive. I've never really priced that stuff out, but just looking at some of these things, I'm thinking you're heading towards $100 most likely. And there's so many different racks and stuff like that. And as I was clicking around looking for stuff, and it came across this video. This is rotator recumbent trike. Rotator recumbent trike. There it is. And look at these places he's going. Now, this is the reason I wanted to bring this up. Look at this setup. Now, that rack is interesting. And this is just a little preview. Like I said, I'd love to make an episode where we go way in depth with people's rigs. And I'm hoping that as the weeks go on and I can get some people to email me or send me messages through Instagram or just email me pictures of their setups, because outside of the typical box rigs, like you think of the back rack with the big box and a little saddlebag, this setup's custom. I don't know if you can see that. He's got a little hanging setup that goes over his back rack. And if we can jump over, oh, the bike's reversed there, but if we can get a picture, let me see. Well, actually, wait a second. I got it set up here. Oh, we got it. Don't worry. Boom. All right. So check this out. This is really interesting. I took some still shots from some of his videos, and you can see the rack there. But what's unique is right there. He doesn't have a custom muffler setup. He just has enough space that the muffler just blows against the pack. Doesn't seem to be a problem. He's got tons of videos of him traveling like this, and he travels with his little dog and everything. And I think this is a pretty legit setup. It's the only one I've seen like this. And I like it because if it works correctly, you could almost make it so it just unhooks right away, put it down at your campsite, and you got a double-sided little table pack setup. I don't know. It seems pretty neat to me. I want to look into that. Maybe he'll do an updated video and you can kind of see how it hangs over. I messaged him and he told me that this was custom made, something that he set up. And I think it's really cool. Yeah, there's his little dog. But I'll link to some of his videos. You can see it's kind of crazy. Like, these are like legit places he's going to in Colorado, like tops of mountains. It's wild. And I came across this video as I was surfing. You can see that, and this is probably more typical when I think of adventure, I just think of just a huge pile of things on the top back rack. And okay, there's the rack. So it looks like that's a T-Rex setup, and it looks pretty heavy duty. I mean, I've never seen one of these in person, so I don't know it. But if it's holding this looks like a lot of stuff. And this is from the channel SBC Dualsport. And he's taking, looks like water and gas. That's a lot of weight, just the liquids by themselves. And this video just kind of details some of his setup and what he chose to do. That T-Rex setup is pretty cool. I know that the trouble is with the saddlebags, it's the muffler. If you don't have a low muffler, then you can't really have something on the side. But you can, right? Because we just saw that where this rack setup, that's our way in. That is so cool. So I'm excited. Like I said, I want to share more in depth. And I know, like, I'd love to just sit back. And I think it'd be so cool to have a lot more viewer submissions and stuff. So we could just go through the little community board and just kind of look at all the different setups. Here's another video I found. It looks like it's from Gasworks ISO. And he details all the stuff. Functionality, pros and cons. And he's got his windshield, mirrors, and this big box in the back, and some of the details for his setup with his GPS and everything. And it's stuff like this that I really am excited to curate and bring together. So I know it's going to be a little bit of work of kind of clicking through the comments and figuring out which videos you want to watch, but at least you know that this is like an all-in-one place, and I can kind of archive it even for myself, because like in the future as I'm scrolling, I might want to come back to this and look at some of these, what I would call adventure bike setups. Because a lot of these, I mean, to me, if you're going to pack bags on your tank and have setups like this, it's going to be for more than a day or two road trip, right? I mean, I guess you could still use it for an afternoon trip, but it seems like a lot of storage. And look at that thing. That thing's just like, that's That's pretty cool. I'll have to look into the T-Rex. I know they're a little bit pricier. And, you know, kind of going back to the milk crate, the milk crate offers a lot of places to attach stuff. So if you're taking a little afternoon trip down to the lake, like I know Willie does on the Great Outdoors, he goes fishing with his. He's got some cool fishing setups. That makes sense with a basket, a net basket style plastic rig. This makes sense right here with these boxes if you're doing stuff that's going to be dealing with weather and stuff like that. And like I said, when we do go in depth about some of these more intense adventure rigs, that's when we're going to talk about trailers, and we're going to be talking about just like other more intense setups. That's why I'm hoping to just get a little preview of some interest things. Obviously, the adventure thing is going to keep coming up, I'm sure, over and over again, because I want to set up this for my own bike, this rig right here with this little saddlebag where it hangs over. Minimal customization too. I'm excited about that because I thought I was gonna have to get like a different muffler. But as the episodes go on, we'll talk more and more about adventure bike stuff. It'll be cool just to hear some feedback because I'm sure there's tons of cool custom setups that you guys have had. Very minimal. I'm all about like minimal modifications, but modifications all the same, and also just some of the daily carries and stuff like that when you're taking your bike places. I think that'll be fun. Speaking of, guys, do you see what you're looking at here? I was scrolling Alibaba and I'm typing adventure and stuff like this. And then I saw this and I'm like, well, that's interesting. That looks like a monkey bike. It's a Chinese replica called a Manken. Okay. Guys, this is wild. Okay, I'm going to play this little video and we'll talk about this. Look at this thing. It's a monkey bike, but it's modified. This thing's specifically made for an adventure. And it's got this crazy like speedometer. It's a huge LCD screen. But look at this rack. I'm going to pause the video for a second. Look at this rear rack. I'm in email communication with one of these companies trying to track down if there might be a way to get some of these racks in. This isn't an official monkey bike branded bike. It looks pretty similar. The what do you call that? The rims are weird. Those are definitely interesting. But I'm all about this rack setup. Like, this would be pretty cool. I mean, this looks like industrial. And as these videos play, I got a couple of videos here we're going to queue up. We'll pause it again. The way this works is this hooks up. It gives you a passenger pegs. It's got the little engine guard down here. And I'm thinking somebody could totally sit on that back. I mean, that looks like industrial strength. I don't know. And it's one of those things, like I said, I mean, I'm not going to do anything right now, but if I could buy one of these for $2,000, it probably is going to be like, let's see what the shipping is. Shipping's not there. It's probably going to be $800 shipping for one of these. So you're looking at like almost $3,000. Ugh. And I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to instead just track down some of these racks to see specifically that rear rack. But it is interesting. You can see a little glimpse. Let's see if it shows it, the speedometer. It has this crazy front headlight. This thing could get packed out so cool. And you'll see in this other video, they have some sort of packed out like this. This is the premier thing of this episode I wanted to talk about. Because this is a crazy setup. And it's like, I don't know what's going on with the speedometer. I mean, it's cool and everything, I guess. But I don't know why you would have an adventure bike that has this huge LCD screen. To me, when I think of LCD screens like that, it just seems like something drops on it, it breaks or whatever. I don't know. I just want like a basic old speedometer. But whatever the case is, this is the Manken Lingming Wild Fun Edition 150. It's a 150 carbureted, and it's going to go through and show a bunch of different stuff. And like I said, I'll put these links to these videos so you can watch them. And most of them are foreign language, so you have to have subtitles on. But let's just jump over here, because as I was scrolling, I found this website, and I don't know where it's located. Well, whatever the case, it looks like it's got some monkey-like parts, right? Which is interesting. And then you got this, another one. This is the Manken Wild Safari. This is the 125. And so this is listed at, I wonder what this is, the conversion on this is. Let's find out. Okay, so it's $3,300 for that. Very interesting. You can see there, you could load that thing up there, load that thing up there, have a passenger sit back there. I don't know. And then, of course, I came across this site, which is selling it as the MK150. So now this site's selling it as a 150, even though this site sells it as a 125. I don't know. Really curious about that rear rig. And so check this out. So this is this is great. This video, I'm not going to play the music, but you can see here, I mean, this thing is where it's like they're promoting, this is an adventure bike. This would be so cool. How cool would this be if Honda could come out with a version of this that would be an official Honda brand bike with this rig setup? That would be what we need for 2026, don't you think? I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. Let's jump ahead here. They're just kind of telling the story. And you can see how I like that little front bag holding area, and they don't really have these things loaded up that much. We got to jump ahead. They have a lot of scenic stuff. There we go. There we go. Let's see these things in action. Yeah, look at that. They're just loaded up. That's awesome. I think there's another little clip. I think I have another video here. Let's see. Okay, look at this one with the knobbies. This is wild. So let's see what this thing looks like loaded up. Now, I think this bike, I think they're calling it something else. Look at the size of this box on the back of this thing. Adjustable. See, this is what Honda needs to come out with. Adjustable rear shocks that you can adjust on the fly based on your riding conditions. Look at that. Now he's taking it off-road. And the size of that rear box. Amazing. So this site is calling it the AEON MK150. And it's basically the same setup and same speedometer. He's got a little cup holder. It's a pretty legit setup. I'm excited to kind of find out more. Oh, whoa. You see that? That looks like a diverter for the exhaust. Guys, that's pretty stinking crazy. I'm going to have to put subtitles on this. Yeah, so the exhaust, instead of it hitting this hold up on the side here, it jets it down. Wow. Really interesting. I've not heard anyone talk about this. I don't know how I even came across it other than just doing a super deep dive into adventure bike stuff. But that is really unique with that muffler. That is really wild. It makes me wonder if it's always set up like that, you know? Let's see what else we got. I got the cup holder. Yeah, this speedometer is crazy. And I was watching one of the videos and it talked about how with the speedometer you can set it in different riding setups. So I don't know if this is set up almost like where you get like the ECU thing flashed where it has different riding styles. This one has something similar to that, what it sounds like, where you can set it to sports mode or regular mode, off-road mode. Interesting to think that that's all built into that thing. So that's the only reason I think if I did have either they wanted to send one to sponsor, which would be amazing. I don't see why they would, but if they did, I'd go for it. But I don't know if I'd spend the money since it's so much, it's $3,000 or more after shipping. Oh, there we go. We get a look at the setup. So there's the passenger peg. So this would be like what the Dax has on it, I think. But this one also has this. They didn't utilize this on this bike. This is what's unique. Not to change. I'm jumping around a little bit, but because I was looking at so many different images, if we can look at that back rack again, right there, you can't see it there, but they don't utilize that same double, what do you call this? Just those two bars. See how this second bar goes down to the passenger peg? That heavy duty one doesn't utilize that. It just has a single one, which I thought was kind of interesting because you would think with toting such a huge bag that they would want, or a huge box, that they would want to have that secondary support. That is just wild. Look at that. That is just crazy. You could move. That's the box you pack to move. And let's see. Okay, this is another one. Yeah, I got the name, because this is written in Chinese. Once I got it and I could copy and paste it, then I started finding all kinds of videos about these bikes. They came out a few years ago. I'd say about 4 years ago, I think. But everything about it looks like a Honda monkey bike. And they swap out the logos and give them different names. Now this one, let's see if we get, I want to look at that back rack again. Same speedometer with the different settings. Oh, actually, I'm curious. I don't see in English. It'd be cool if it just had it right there. but does have RPMs. Pretty neat. I wanted to see if they showed the back rack, if it has that double thing. Here we go. There we go. Yeah. Okay, it does. See that? It has that secondary one that comes down to the passenger peg. That is an industrial back rack. All right, I'm going to stop getting so excited about this. I wanted to jump over here, though, real quick, because it did remind me when I was seeing this company selling like monkey bike looking replicas and stuff. Pretty sure it was this site, Vintage Motorcycles. So, yeah, these are monkey bikes, right? I got a close-up of this bike, and the speedometer had a completely different readout. It had the same monkey bike style speedometer with the 2 digits there, kind of looked like eyes, but it had neutral. It gave the position for the shifter, which makes me also think that somewhere on that gauge, there was a RPM thing. How cool if Honda could just take some notes and say, all right, let's do a 150 adventure version, the Honda Monkey Adventurer. I think, to me, this is like the ideal adventurer. I mean, do you need all this? Maybe not. The headlight's a little crazy on it. Completely changes the form factor for sure. You know, obviously the monkey bike and that round headlight. But that's wild. It's like, yeah, that one does have RPMs on it. So that's interesting. And it's just a big old touchscreen. Maybe it's kind of cool. I don't know. Now, I don't think that this is fuel injected when I was clicking around. So either way, that's just something I wanted to share. Now you can go on your own little rabbit chase. Rabbit chase? Monkey chase. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how this series is going to work out. I wanted to just set myself up to try to have some consistency, try to do some stuff, some videos specifically about the monkey bike, and there will be more focused videos about topics that we talk about in this show. And I know as more episodes happen, I can pull in some viewer comments and some other subjects that might come up that'll be really good conversations and an opportunity to let you guys learn about some stuff. This episode, I wanted to focus on just the introduction. Welcome to Monkey Bike Monday. And I wanted to start sharing channels that I like. And a lot of these channels, they don't necessarily only share monkey bike stuff. And so I'll link to specific monkey bike videos on those channels and then let you kind of click around on their channels, and hopefully you can find some of the other good stuff. I'll leave you with this, though. There's a video I came across. I think it's the channel Uncle Voodoo. And he gave a little story about what led to him buying a monkey bike. And it's just something I didn't know what it was going to be about. I clicked it. It's a really cool story. The chain of events that led to him buying a monkey bike, all because of a lighter. That'll spark your interest. I think currently he's riding a Jansen motorcycle, and I haven't seen any monkey bike videos posted in a while, so I'm not sure if he maybe got rid of that bike. But he does have some dedicated monkey bike videos and some reviews. And I'm going to talk about his channel and some others in future episodes as well. I just wanted to kind of give a little preview and leave you with that. Really good story. Thanks so much for watching. I don't know how long this has been going for, but I think this is a great subject matter. Adventure biking. Are we doing week-long trips? Are we doing 16-day coast-to-coast trips? No, probably not. Not every week, not every month, not every year. But I think we are trying to do, at least for me, I'm trying to do, it'd be cool to do some camping, some one-night camping, some 2-day road trips, 3-day road trips. I think of adventure biking as riding a motorcycle the whole time. My trip to Deals Gap, I ended up just riding in a car with a trailer, and Eric from Cup and Clutch. We went down there and had fun the first time. Kind of had fun. It rained, so it was kind of miserable. But we did have a chance to go back again, and that video is coming up soon. So if you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. And that'll be a dedicated video. All that to say, though, I've just kind of touched on that. You know, that was a camping trip, but we had all of our resources. We had a whole car and trailer with us. So I think there's something to packing down small amounts of stuff, just enough for the trip. And some of those hurdles, it's very similar to the monkey bike itself. Tons of limitations, right? To me, that's the fun. And how much do you modify the bike before it changes the whole point of it? right? And that's something that I want to talk about soon as well. If there's any ideas that you have or anything that I might have skipped over or jumped around, I know I'm kind of getting through this. I just want to kind of keep these in a condensed form, but also, a little conversational. If there's anything you want to hear more of, be sure to leave a comment. Thanks so much for watching. See you later.